Okay, so last time I shared about Jacob being cheated by his uncle to marry Leah before Rachel. And Jacob had to serve his uncle for 14 years. So after Jacob marrying Rachel, his love for Rachel totally overshadowed Leah. And when God saw that Leah was not loved, he made her conceive. And Leah gave birth to the first son. She called him Reuben because she said, God finally seen my misery. And Leah conceived again and gave birth to Simeon. And Leah conceived again and gave birth to Levi. And Leah conceived again and gave birth to Judah because she said, from now on I will praise the Lord. When Rachel saw that Leah gave birth to 4 sons, but she couldn't get Rachel any children, she was angry and she said to Jacob, give me children or I'll die. And Jacob said, am I God who can keep you from having children? Then Rachel said, fine, go sleep with my servant Bilhah so that she can have children under my name. So Jacob slept with Bilhah, and Bilhah conceived and gave birth to Dan. Then Rachel said, praise the Lord, finally God heard my misery. And Bilhah conceived again and gave birth to Naphtali. And when Leah saw that she stopped having children, she too gave Jacob her servant Zilpah. And Jacob slept with Zilpah, and Zilpah conceived and gave birth to Gad. And Zilpah conceived again and gave birth to Asher, because she said, now all the women will call me happy. One day, Reuben, the son of Leah, found some mandrakes from the field, and he brought the mandrakes to his mother. When Rachel saw the mandrakes, she said to Leah, give me some of your son's mandrakes. Then Leah said, you have taken away my husband. Now you want to take away my son's mandrakes? Then Rachel said, very well, you can sleep with him tonight in return for your son's mandrake. So when Leah went back, she saw Jacob. She said, you have to sleep with me tonight because I have traded you with my son's mandrake. So Jacob, like, what? You see how poor thing was Jacob. His wife traded him with some vegetables. So Jacob slept with Leah, and Leah conceived and gave birth to Issachar. And Leah conceived again and gave birth to Zebulun. Finally, God remembered about Rachel. So he made her conceive, and Rachel gave birth to Joseph because she said, God has taken away my disgrace. After having Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, it's about time for me to go back to my father's place because I've served you for so many years. Give me my wife and my children. Then Laban said, if I found favor in your eyes, please stay, because I know that God blessed me because of you. Then Jacob said, well, if you want me to stay, sure, give me all of your speckled goats and dark-colored lambs. Then I'll stay. Then Laban said, good, agree, because these flocks are blemished. They are not perfect, with patches and stuff. So that same day, Laban took away all the speckled and the blemished goats and lambs and gave them to Jacob. But God was with Jacob, so he multiplied his flocks, and Jacob became very wealthy. One day, Jacob heard the sons of Laban telling their father that Jacob is taking away all your belongings. That's why he's very rich today. And Jacob realized that his uncle Laban's perception towards him has changed. So he said to his wives, I think it's about time for us to go back to my father's place because your father's attitude towards me has changed. You see how hard I worked for him for the last 14 years, right? So the wives agreed. So the next day, Jacob took his wives, his children, and all the flocks that he had, and they left the place without telling Laban. Also, Rachel secretly stole her father's household gods and took them with her and left. After 3 days, someone told Laban that Jacob has fled. So he gathered his men and chased after Jacob. And after 7 days, they finally caught up to Jacob. But the night before, God spoke to Laban in his dream. Be very careful what you say to Jacob, either good or bad. The next day, Laban spoke to Jacob. What have you done? Why are you taking away my daughters like the captives of war? If you have told me that you are leaving, I would have sent you away with joy and singing. What you have done is foolish. You know I have the power to harm you. But God spoke to me last night that I shouldn't say anything to you, either good or bad. I know you long to go back to your father's place. But why have you stolen my gods? Then Jacob said, well, if I told you, I'm afraid that you may take away my wives with force. And also, I've served you for 20 years and you have changed my wages 10 times. And also, I haven't stolen your gods. You can search me, you can search everyone. If anyone who has taken your gods, he or she shall not live. So Laban searched all the tents, including the tents of Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, and he couldn't find anything because Rachel has hidden the gods in her camel saddle and she was sitting onto it. And when Laban approached Rachel, she said, my lord, I'm sorry, I cannot stand up now because I'm having my period. So in the end, Laban couldn't find anything. Then Jacob became angry and said, what is my crime? I've served you for 20 years under the hot sun in the day and the cold in the night, and you have changed my wages 10 times. If God wasn't there with me, you would have sent me away empty-handed. That's why God rebuked you last night. Then Laban said, okay, fine. Let's make a covenant. From now on, I will not cross over here to harm you, and you shall not cross over here to harm me. Then Jacob took the stones over there and built into the heap. Then he said, may the God of Abraham be our witness. The next morning, Laban bid farewell to his daughters and his grandchildren, and he left and returned home. Dear friends, first of all, it's difficult to manage 2 wives. And secondly, you remember Jacob had the blessing from his father? You see, God allowed him to suffer for 20 years. In the next session, I'm going to share what happened to Jacob after he returned to his father's place. Stay tuned.